Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's NMeade here as always, bringing a new series of videos that will be rolling out on the channel over the next few months. I've been wanting to put more time into teaching you all how to play Mario Kart Wii and learn some useful skills to help you race better, both in getting faster time trials and playing online. I started this with a comprehensive, in-depth tutorial on N64 Bowser's Castle. And while I am very proud of that video, it took well over 50 to at least 60 hours in total to make. Needless to say, those types of videos will not be coming out as often as these videos will be as a result. I want to have a series dedicated to the techniques in the game that will be an easy reference for people to look at when I give you all individual feedback and tips to improve your own times, as the Time Trial Lab series will be starting very soon. And if you don't know what that series is, that'll be linked in the description below. Today, we'll be starting off with a question I get asked frequently. What are chain wheelies and how do I perform them? When you use a bike, you can pull off a wheelie using the wheelie input depending on the controller you are using. The D-pad for the GameCube and Classic controllers, flicking the Wii remote up for a Wiimote and nunchuck combo, and flicking the wheel up for using the Wii wheel. A wheelie will last for exactly 180 frames or 3 seconds before the wheelie ends. The earliest you can restart your wheelie is the first frame after the last one ends, and is the fastest way to maintain the most momentum without losing much time. This is a 1 frame timing in a 60 frame per second video game, so needless to say, this timing can be very challenging. Every other frame timing of a wheelie input after the first frame will result in further time loss, and this becomes more exaggerated if the bike you're using has better or worse acceleration. Next time you watch a ghost with a speedometer, take a look at it when a chain wheelie comes and you can see the speed differences. I have disabled the course music here, and I want you all to increase your video volume momentarily and listen. Do you hear that sound effect? I commonly refer to that noise as quote-unquote swishes or wind swishes when you are in a wheelie. Typically, 5 of these quote-unquote swishes will sound before the wheelie will end. The timing I've come to learn in playing this game for so long now is right when the 5th swish audio effect ends. That is when you want to time your wheelie input. Some players such as Sword and Cole are notable for being extremely precise in their wheelie timings, down to just 2 D-pad inputs or sometimes just 1. For me, I personally do what I call a timed spam, where I will do 1 to 2 safety D-pad inputs before my actual timing for a wheelie, and 1 safety input after my timing to make sure I actually chain the wheelie and I don't drop down to the ground for a long period of time. This method can be very effective for GameCube and Classic controller users, but I know this is not applicable to Wiimote and nunchuck users and Wii wheel users. With both of these controller setups, when you flick your controllers up, it actually registers several inputs at once. My recommendation for this is to flick the Wii wheel or Wii remote after you hear the 5th swish audio effect ending. I have noticed players doing this before, and I wanted to clarify for you. Once you have initiated your wheelie, you don't need to continue spamming the wheelie input. It will not make you go faster, and it is not required to keep your wheelie going. Beyond timing chain wheelies, it should also be mentioned that anytime you are even doing the slightest adjustment in your wheelie, you will be losing time as you're reducing the speed you are driving at. The only driving method where this does not happen is an automatic drift, which makes this very useful for tracks like DS Peach Gardens within the Hedge Maze, and also Moonview Highway in the past. Timing chain wheelies like this through this audio cue is, in my opinion, the most optimal method to time your chain wheelies better. However, I use another method at the same time, which makes it even more useful. I use markers on tracks when I play. I will use DS Delfino Square as an example. I always know that on lap 1 of a time trial here, my wheelie will almost always end right where the shadow starts, right over here. As a result, I use this visual cue of the shadow and the audio swoosh cue to optimize my timing of the chain wheelie. I also do this on N64 Bowser's Castle on lap 1, where my wheelie will almost always end at this section of the shadow, ending before it becomes lighter. And in general, the more you are playing different tracks for a longer period of time, you will know looking around visually when your wheelie is going to end, no matter what. I highly recommend getting used to using visual cues as well. To me, I think the combination of both using these audio cues and visual cues is the best way to be timing your wheelies more often. Overall, learning how to chain your wheelies optimally will have the most benefit for your time trials, especially tracks that are more chain wheelie heavy than others. This skill has less benefit when racing online due to items being the largest variable dictating results of races, but it does provide a tiny benefit when front running at least, and every little bit can count in the end, for example in Clan Wars. I hope I made this explanation as concise, clear, and easy to understand as possible. I want to keep these short and sweet, to the point to help you learn different techniques in the game. If you guys like these instructional videos, please do give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not done so already. The next video in the series will be covering everything with spin drifts. Until then, thank you for watching and take care.